Every year, for centuries, Roman merchant ships left Egypt and followed the summer monsoon winds east across the Indian Ocean. They weren't explorers, they were businessmen. They knew exactly where they were going. They were chasing something more valuable than silver, more strategically important than silk. They were chasing pepper, and the port that had all the pepper, the port that Roman senators wrote about, that Greek merchants mapped, that the Tamil poets sang of, was called Muziris. Now, most people, if they've heard of Muziris at all, have heard the mainstream argument that it was somewhere along the Kerala coast, near modern Kodungalur. That's what most textbooks say. But two researchers independently went back to the original sources, the Greek merchant texts, the Roman trade records, the Tamil Sangam poetry, and both arrived at the same conclusion. A different conclusion. A very different conclusion. The first is Anto George. He spent years cross-referencing ancient Greek and Roman records with Tamil geography and published his findings in this book, The Discovery of Muziris. His argument, Muziris wasn't in Kerala at all. The second is Kothai Sri Vallaban, 3 volumes of Tamil historical research. Tamil Ina Varalaru, tracing the Sangam period boundaries, river systems, and royal territories of this exact region. 2 researchers, 2 completely independent lines of inquiry. The same answer. What they argue, together, is that Muziris was here, in what is now Kanyakumari. And once you see the evidence they've assembled, it's very hard to unsee. Now, the mainstream argument that Muziris was at Kodungalur or Pattanam in Kerala rests primarily on archaeology. Excavations at Pattanam since 2007 have found Roman coins, a wharf, a wooden canoe, West Eurasian DNA, real evidence of Roman contact with that area. But here is the problem. Contact doesn't prove location. Romans traded along the entire Indian coast, and excavations at Kodungalur itself, which began in 1945, found nothing before the 13th century. Not the first. The 13th. 62 years of digging and no Sangam period evidence at the most likely candidate. Here is the other problem. Nobody has ever excavated Kanyakumari for this period. Not once. Despite the fact that Ptolemy, the Greek geographer writing in 130 AD, named a metropolis here. He called it Kottar. The town is still there. It's called Kottar, and nobody has dug it for Roman-era remains. We have 6 independent lines of evidence pointing to this region. Not one researcher. 6 separate convergences from Greek maps, Roman papyrus records, Tamil Sangam poetry, satellite geography, etymology, and a geographic argument that has no answer. I want to walk you through all of them. Convergence 1. Purananuru, poem 343. A Tamil poet named Paranar, writing in the 1st century CE, describes a city in these words. Precious, like Musari of Kutuvan, with a gold garland, where black pepper sacks heaped in houses make them appear like the uproarious ocean shores. Gold wares from ships are brought to the shore by boats through backwaters, and the king gives precious things from the mountain and ocean. Tamil poet, Tamil king, Tamil port, named explicitly as Musari, with pepper, with backwaters, with foreign gold arriving by ship, with mountains and ocean together, 2,000 years ago. Convergence 2. The Boundary River. Sangam literature describes the Chuli River as the boundary between Chera and Pandya territory. In Tamil, Chuli means curve, and look at this river. It curves dramatically from east to west before turning sharply south, all the way to the coast. The name is not a label, it is a description. Kothai Sri Vallaban identifies this Chuli river as the Palaya Aru, meaning literally the old river, still flowing today through Nagercoil, past Kottar and out to the sea. Kottar. The word itself means boundary river settlement. The Chuli is the boundary, the curve is still visible, and Kottar is exactly where it is about to meet the sea. Now here is where this stops being a local argument. Ptolemy, the Greek geographer writing in 130 AD, identifies a metropolis at this exact location. He calls it Kottara. That is Kottar, a metropolis, Ptolemy's own word, sitting at the documented Chera-Pandya boundary on the coast in the 2nd century AD. And nobody has excavated it, for Sangam period remains. Convergence 3. The ancient maps agree. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a 1st century Greek merchant's sailing manual, describes Muziris as lying on a river, surrounded by backwaters and lagoons, where ships anchor at the river mouth, and cargo is ferried inland by smaller boats. It places Muziris between two known ports, Tindus to the north, modern Kerala coast, and Nelsinda to the south, the Kanyakumari region. Muziris sits between them, but it's the Tabula Peutingeriana, the Roman world map, that gives us something more specific. It shows the river near Muziris originating from a mountain range with both an eastward flowing and a westward flowing branch. Find me another river in South India that fits that description. The Thamirabarani originates in the Agastyamalai range, the southernmost peak of the Western Ghats, right here in Kanyakumari district. Its headwaters feed streams flowing both east toward the Gulf of Mannar and west toward the Arabian Sea. The Periyar, which the mainstream says is the Periplus River, flows predominantly westward only. It has no eastern twin. A Tamil poet described a Chera pepper port with backwaters. A Greek sailor confirmed its position between two known landmarks. A Roman cartographer drew its river originating in mountains with east and west branches. All three are describing the same place, and that place is not the Periyar Delta. Convergence 4. The name itself. The ancient Tamil name for this place was Munchirai, claims Anto George. It means the shore of black pepper. Say it slowly, Munchirai. Now say the Roman name, Muziris, a Tamil word transliterated into Latin across 2,000 years. The sounds survived the empire. And there's another name. The port was called Muchiri, or Musiri. The mainstream argument says this name derives from the branching of the Periyar River near Kodungalur. Muchiri, they say, means cleft lip, the split mouth of the river. Convergence 5. Look at this satellite image. This is the Thamirabarani Delta Zone, and here, right here at this village, the ancient ghost tributaries split. Two branches diverging, the same cleft lip geography, the same feature the mainstream says justifies the Periyar. But here, at a village called Musari, Muchiri, the name of the port, the shape of the river, the same village, still on the map. Now here's an objection you might raise. The kings who ruled the Kanyakumari region during parts of the Sangam period are sometimes called the I Dynasty, a separate kingdom from the Cheras, the argument goes, which means this area wasn't Chera territory at all. Kothai Sri Vallaban addresses this directly. The word I, in ancient Tamil, means he who gives. It is a title of generosity applied to nobles and kings as an honorific. The Sangam poems use it as a title, not as a dynastic name. What modern historians have done is taken a royal title and constructed a separate dynasty from it. When the Sangam texts themselves describe these rulers as part of the same interlocking Chera royal network, connected through marriage. and the Sangam kings married across all three dynasties constantly. Chera kings married Pandya princesses. Chola kings married Chera nobles. A was also used as title for kings from the female line. The political boundaries were real, but they were family boundaries, not ethnic ones. This map shows the actual boundary as Sangam literature describes it. The Chuli running north to south, Chera territory to the west, Pandya territory to the east. The battlefield at the boundary, Kalyam Kadu, still visible in the place name, and Musari, the port, sitting in the Chera zone, between the river and the sea. Convergence 6. This one has no counter-argument. The Pathitrupathu, the ancient anthology of Chera royal poems. 3rd decade. Poems 27 and 28. A poet named Palai Kuthamanar praising a Chera king named Palyanai Silkeju Kutuvan for a specific royal ritual. He bathed in the waters of 3 seas simultaneously. The poets recorded this as a feat of kingship, a ritual tied to place, to the Chera capital, Vanchi. Open a map of India. Find Kodungalur, find Patanam, find any point on the Kerala coast. How many seas does it touch? 1. The Arabian Sea, that is all. There is exactly one point in all of India, the Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea, the Indian Ocean, where all 3 meet. You are looking at it. The Tamil poets were not confused about geography. They could not have been describing a king in Kerala. The geography will not allow it. 6 convergences. A Tamil poet named the port. A boundary river still holds the Chera Pandya line. Ptolemy named the boundary town a metropolis. The river that named the port still shows its split mouth from space. The Roman world map matches a river that only exists here, and a royal ritual that can only happen here. And here's the thing that nobody says out loud. Ptolemy wrote about this place in 130 AD. The town he named, Kottar, is still there, on the banks of the Palaya Aru. The ghost tributaries of the Thamirabarani Delta are still visible in satellite imagery. The village that kept the name of the port for 2,000 years is still on the map. The Chera Pandya boundary river is still called Palaya Aru, the old river. In 62 years of digging in Kerala, archaeologists found nothing from the right period at Kodungalur. They found evidence at Patanam from 2007, evidence of Roman contact, real and significant. But contact is not location. Nobody has dug at Kottar. Nobody has excavated the Thamirabarani Delta for Sangam period remains. Not once. That is not a conclusion. That is a question. And it is a question that deserves an answer. Kanyakumari has always been a meeting place. It's where 3 oceans come together. The Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea, the Indian Ocean. It's where ancient trade routes terminated. It's where Tamil Sangam literature places some of its oldest scenes. The Ramayana names specific locations here, and the name Munchirai itself appears in stories that predate Roman contact by centuries. This land doesn't just carry geography, it carries memory. In its village names, in its riverbeds, in the shape of its coastline. The history isn't buried, it's just been waiting for someone curious enough to look. This isn't the only story buried in this land. Every district in Tamil Nadu has questions like this. Questions that haven't been asked because nobody thought to look. This channel is about looking. If you want to keep looking with us, subscribe. The next story is already waiting.